People feeding pigeons, a familiar sight across India, sometimes done out of love for birds, sometimes out of faith. Now, people from the Jain community gathered at Mumbai's Dadar East Swaminarayan temple for a silent march remembering the pigeons who died in road accidents when feeding spots were shut. Jain protests against the ban on pigeons feeding in Mumbai escalated in August this year after the BMC closed traditional feeding spots called kabutarkhanas due to health concerns from pigeon droppings. The protests show a conflict between the religious practice of feeding pigeons, which is seen as an act of public health concerns. Hindu religious leaders who were present at the pigeon mourning ceremony warned the Maharashtra government that the entire saint community stands united over rights of animals from pigeons to cows. Mumbai banned public pigeon feeding primarily due to public health concerns related to pigeon droppings, which can spread respiratory illnesses like pneumonia and fungal infections and also cause damage to historical buildings. The Bombay High Court upheld the ban, citing that pigeon droppings pose a serious health hazard and can damage public and heritage structures.
Are these droppings worse than the chemicals which we inhale through our air of patakas and everything else, attributing to air pollution and not to mind the noise pollution? Only these droppings are the reason for health hazards. I live in Greater Noida, and we don't have so many pigeons, but still Greater Noida and Noida has been put in a category of respiratory illness cities due to the pollution. So the pollution is a countrywide problem, and the droppings, a radical solution is not the answer. There has been a plan, there has been a discussion in the state government also before, which talked about a balanced approach, right? Now, the balanced approach does not mean shutting down the feeding, which is going to lead to deaths of thousands and thousands of pigeons. That is going to be definitely a health hazard when we have their bodies lying on the streets, when we have cats and dogs trying to eat them or just to take them away, and then we have flies who give eggs in their decaying bodies and give rise to maggots, and hence we are talking about more and more and more communication and more diseases. So droppings exaggerated a bit, because if droppings were the issue, people would not have been doing it for centuries and centuries. Yes, designated areas away from the city, areas away from the urban population, those are the areas which should have been focused on in the past as well as in the present, to ensure that even if there are droppings, they are not affecting the urban civilization. Yeah, we have outskirts of the cities. We have so many areas which are just on the outskirts, which may be the forest areas or the open areas. The feeding points can be decided.